Hi there, good morning. You're watching Market Cafe on ET Now with me, Snehi Shah. This is a show where we'll be taking you through all the things that happened globally as well as back home. Market action from all across the globe, and this is from the closing bell on Friday, right, and bring you up to speed bright and early this morning. So let's get kick started and tell you what's been happening with the US markets. It's not been a very good day for the US markets if you take a look at what happened on Friday, because you have the Dow that has closed with cuts of almost 1%, S&P 500 also lower by 1% almost, and you have the Nasdaq that underperformed the entire market, a 1.5% cut, almost a 1.3% cut coming in on the Nasdaq. It's a 400-point cut coming in on Dow Jones, and overall the indices on the US markets have closed in the red. Now, a lot of this has to do with the tariff fear that or rather the tariff war, the trade war that has been orchestrated by President Donald Trump. And remember, today is also the day where China is expected to retaliate back, and the tariffs that they are going to apply rather on the US are going to come into effect from today. At least that is what we understand from reports. And let's also talk about the earnings fronts, because the two-thirds of your S&P companies have reported a rather decent set of earnings. But when you talk about what the major benchmarks have done, they took a leg lower during the session after President Donald Trump said that he was planning reciprocal tariffs on trading partners. So that is something that has not been taken well by the street, because this could also mean raising tariff levels across the board to equal rates charged to the US. And that is what Donald Trump has also said over the course of the weekend. This weekend, the stock market was already on edge before Trump made this statement, as some consumer sentiment and job data pointed to a pickup in inflation, and this also spiked the 10-year Treasury yield to above that 4.5% mark at its session high. So that is also something that has not done well for the US markets. Consumer sentiment data, that's something that we got over the weekend, that fell in February to 67.8. Now, economists that were polled by Dow Jones had expected this number to be 71.3. So it's quite the cut coming in from what was penciled in for the street. But perhaps more concerning was the report's respondents anticipate a one-year inflation rate to hit 4.3%. That is again something that is not panning well for the US markets. And for all of these reasons, the market was tanking on Friday. Cuts coming in across the board. Amazon too lost 4% after guidance from the e-commerce giant disappointed investors as well. We'll be telling you about that more in detail as well. Overall, it's been a rather volatile week coming in for the US markets. So while that is everything that's been happening with the equity markets, let's also take a look at what commodities have been doing. It's looking good for WTI and Brent right now, because both are trading with 0.5% gains. That's the last price that we have. It's a third straight weekly gain coming in for both of these oil indices. They finished with daily gains on Friday after new sanctions were imposed on Iran's crude exports, but prices were down for the week as investors worried about US President Donald Trump's renewed trade war on China. Brent lower by 3%. You had WTI also 2% over the course of the week that went by. Now, the US Treasury said on Thursday that it was imposing new sanctions on a few individuals, and this includes China. You have Iranian crude oil. All of this was under pressure. Remember, Trump has announced 10% tariff on Chinese imports as part of a broad plan to improve the US trade balance, and they have also suspended plans to impose steep tariffs on Mexico and Canada. That's something we heard last week, but the ones on Iran as well as China stay. And also it's important to remember that reports suggest that China is going to be retaliating with their tariffs today as well. So it's going to be important to see how the US markets, as well as how both of these oil indices, you have WTI as well as crude, how both of them act in today's trade. But that's a lowdown on what equities and commodities have done over the course of the weekend, Priyanka.
All right. Morning, Sneha. Absolutely. This is more on the consumer sentiment which got hit, and the jobless report which came on Friday. The US economy added just 143,000 jobs in the month of January, but the unemployment rate fell to 4%. And this is the jobs growth in January, which is down significantly from an upwardly revised 307,000 mark in December month. This one missed consensus expectation of 169,000 for the month. The report made significant revisions to 2024 totals. The report also said that the wildfires in Southern California and even the frigid temperatures in large part of the country in January had no discernible effect on payrolls. However, the household survey showed 5,73,000 people failed to report for work because of the weather conditions, and that's the highest for any January month since 2011.
Okay, so that is sounding very adverse when it comes to the US market. Meanwhile, Chicago Federal Reserve President Austin Goolsbee termed the January jobs report solid. However, on the tariff front, he added that the long-term inflation expectations are well anchored. Additionally, it looks like the central bank is likely to hold rates here on with the intent to achieve that 2% inflation target.
Okay, and in the meantime, the market continues to be on the edge with Trump's tariff strategy over the weekend. US President Donald Trump said he will be announcing 25% tariffs on all steel as well as aluminium imports into the country, which would come on top of existing metals duties in another major escalation of his trade policy overhaul. He said that the US would match tariff rates levied by other countries and that this would apply to all countries as well. Remember, during his first term, Trump imposed tariffs of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminium, but later granted several trading partners duty-free quotas, including for Canada, Mexico, and even for Brazil.
It's not looking good for China as well, because shifting focus to China, where consumer inflation has accelerated to its fastest in 5 months in January, while producer price deflation persisted, reflecting mixed consumer spending and weak factory activity. Now, according to the analyst community, deflationary pressures are likely to persist in China this year unless policymakers can rekindle the sluggish domestic demand. The consumer price index rose of 0.5% last month from a year earlier, quickening from December's 0.1% gain. Core inflation, excluding volatile prices for food and fuel, sped up to 0.6% in January from the 0.4 compared to the previous month.
Alright, in the lead up to the India Energy Week 2025, India's position in the global energy markets has been a topic of significant discussion. The country continues to navigate complex international dynamics to secure affordable as well as reliable energy supplies for its populace. Set to commence on February 11th at Yashobhoomi Dwarka in New Delhi, India Energy Week 2025 will highlight energy access, security, affordability, and even sustainability while encouraging cross-border cooperation and collaboration. At a recent press conference, Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas Hardeep Singh Puri shed light on India's approach to engaging with global energy suppliers and the strategies employed to mitigate market volatility. He also touched upon the importance of diversifying energy sources to ensure long-term stability. Here's his insights on India's proactive measures in the global energy arena.
The Prime Minister's commitment is to making energy available at all times in the most affordable manner, along with transition to green energy. Okay? So we are not committed to buying any quantity from anyone. We are committed to buying the most economically priced energy of the grade of crude that you want at all points of time. Today, the most important thing is energy is available in abundant supply. What do I mean by that? More and more crude is coming onto the market in spite of the cutbacks which came from some of the producers. Today, Western Hemisphere, more energy is coming on. You know, the industry requires adjustment, investment, etc. And also, a lot of depends on the international price. If the international price falls beyond a little bit, which is music to the ears of someone like me, some people may not think it worthwhile putting large amounts of money in the E&P business. But these are all situations which we navigate as we go along.
Okay, on that note, we'll slip into a short break on this edition of Market Cafe, and when we return, we'll take a look at how the Asian markets have opened up bright and early this Monday morning. You stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Welcome back. You tune in to Market Cafe on ET Now. This is Priyanka along with me, Snehi. Let's get you the cues from the Asian market. Asia Pacific market seems to be trading with a negative bias only, and this one is tracking especially the US stocks futures. If you look at Japan's in fact, ASX, let's get a look at ASX. It's down by 0.2%. If you talk about Japan's Nikkei and even their broader index, both have started the day on a lower note. Kospi is also down by 0.6%. Nikkei has, it started the day with on a lower note. It was down by 0.4%, but it has turned into green. Let's even get you the view on topics, how that one is faring, because that one also started the day on a lower note. It lost 0.4%. This is especially after key data came in the country's bank lending grew by 3%. And even if you talk about Shanghai, China, that one has to be watched out closely because two of the key indicator has to come in from that market also. It's flat to positive right now, but at the same time, ASX, that one is trading with a negative bias. Kospi is down by 0.5%. China, the CPI data, which rose by 0.7% on month basis and 0.5% annually in January. This is more than which is coming, more than estimates. Even their PPI index, that one that captures the wholesale of the price of good, that one also fell 2.3% from the previous year in January. So seems like Shanghai is positive, but Nikkei has turned into positive. ASX is down, Kospi is down. So mixed set of cues coming in from the China market. This is all especially after the comments Trump made on Sunday on a blanket impose of 25% on aluminium and steel. And Indian markets seems to be also, there's a softer start could be on the Indian markets with a 50-point cut coming in, what GIFT Nifty is indicating at the moment.
Rather flat on the spot, because this is exactly where we had shut shop on Friday, and 60-point cut coming in on the futures. That's what the market implied open is seeming like to be today. Remember, over the course of the week, we also have inflation data from back home, CPI and WPI. So that's also going to be an important factor to watch out for, and how the markets perform over the course of the week. But
Right, and moving on, Karnataka is gearing up to host Global Investors 2025 in Bangalore, a landmark event set to attract global businesses leaders and investors. At a press conference, Minister M.B. Patil outlined the key highlights of the upcoming event. Let's take a look.
We are going to have the inaugural session of Global Investors Meet 2025 on 11th, 4 p.m. The Honorable Governor, His Excellency, will be giving gracious presence, and our Chief Minister, Siddaramaiah ji, will be presiding over the inaugural function, and Union Minister for Defence, Sri Rajnath Singh ji, will be inaugurating it. Piyush Goyal ji has indicated that he'll be on the 12th evening to give awards to those industries who have contributed for Karnataka's growth. Some 14 plus awards are being given on 12th evening. 12th and 13th, the SME Connect, Venturize, and all these roundtable conferences, seminars will progress. And 13th evening will be the SME awards. Nearly about 35 plus awards, SME awards will be given on that day. And on 14th, 12 o'clock will be the valedictory function. And apart from that, we'll be having around 60 plus eminent speakers participating in this 4-day functions. And the first time we have doing this awards who are being honored to all those industries who have contributed for Karnataka's growth. And also we have 19 countries participating, partners with us. That's the first time. Every day we'll be announcing in the evening how many, what should the MOU has been signed. And totally up till now, more than 10 lakh crores investments are being confirmed.
Okay, shifting focus from that, with the India Energy Week set to commence its third edition from the 11th to 14th February, conversations around the event's highlights and propositions for budding and established entrepreneurs is coming to the fore. To be held at Yashobhumi, Dwarka, New Delhi, this year's event is putting forth many propositions to further promote the spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation in India. In the same regard, the event will have a lot of attractions for the general audience and the entrepreneurs of the nation, highlighting cutting-edge advancements and allowing conversations and interactions with market influencers, leaders and policymakers are amongst the many USPs of this event this year. Pankaj Jain, the Secretary, Ministry for Petroleum and Natural Gas, elaborated on these aspects of the event during a recent press conference, relaying details like the hackathons to be held at the venue. Here's what he had to say.
The fact that we have, an open to the exhibition itself becomes open to the public, particularly on day 4, where it's fully available, and a lot of people can actually go to the site and be able to access even on the first 3 days. And this is not paid for. This is, at request we can do that. This also enables a lot of students, lot of people who are working in the area to be able to see and interact with oil industry majors, to see pavilions and to see cutting-edge work happening in oil and gas in various parts of the world. All that gets showcased here. The other big thing here is about the engagement with startups and the engagements around technology. So there is a hackathon which is part of this event. There is a startup challenge which is called the Avinya Energy Startup Challenge 2.0. That is also happening here. So that's the other element here.
Right. With this, we slip into a short break, but let's get to what all we have going further. Power Pack action lineup, that's what we have planned. At 9:20, we speak to Nilesh Shah to understand what is the view mutual funds are holding at this moment. Now, how much cash are they sitting on? And is this the time to deploy the cash in the markets? 9:30, we keep it with the earnings. We speak to Sanjeev Singhal, who is the CMD for Mazgaan Auction Builders. At 9:40, we speak to Rajesh Yejurkar, who's the ED and CEO for Auto and Farm for MNN. Tractor division did a superb market share in this quarter. Let's understand that on the demand and the trends from this very segment. 10:20, we speak to Rashesh Gogri, who's the chairman for RT Pharma Labs, and keeping it with the earnings only. At 10:30, we speak to Sakanand Prasad Sitaraman, who's a CFO for Wapak.
Hi there, welcome back to Market Cafe. Let's touch base on the biggest event that's happened in the political front over the course of the weekend, and that's the outcome of the Delhi election. And seems like the lotus has bloomed in Delhi. Aam Aadmi Party's dream of matching Sheila Dikshit's record of completing 3 consecutive terms from 1998 to 2013 is now shattered. What has led to AAP's fall in the national capital, and what are the key issues that BJP will have to focus on going forward? We spoke to experts on the same. Let's go across and listen in.
Mr. Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party has lost the battle of credibility. And that is the big problem for him, because when you lose the credibility, it becomes very difficult to make a comeback. As I mentioned to you, in the last 10 years, the manner in which, take one example, like Mr. Kejriwal accused everyone of the corruption. But in 2024 election, every person he accused of corruption, he was sitting with them and basically trying to ask them to support him in the election, and he was supporting them. That was the first factor. Second thing, he set up bar so higher that I will accuse from 2013 to 2018, the bar that was set by Mr. Kejriwal was that if anybody is accused of corruption, he should be thrown in the jail. But when the same rules were applied, he said, no, the same rules cannot be applicable. I will make, there will be different set of rules that will be applicable. Third, his credibility in terms of both the car, the house, and the kind of the appearance that he was showing and what he was doing. Another thing that you would have noted that in his residence, Swati Maliwal, his own Rajya Sabha MP, was also assaulted. So that was the credibility also on the law and order, that if people are not safe in the residence of Chief Minister, how will the Chief Minister ensure law and order in the state of state of Delhi? So on all counts, I think Mr. Kejriwal had lost the credibility, and therefore I don't think I have to offer any advice to Mr. Kejriwal. But I think the people are very smart. They are aware people. The citizens and voters of India are very aware voters, and the message for him is, don't take voters or citizens of India for granted, because theatrics don't work. It is credibility that works in India.
Yeah, I go to Mr. Jagannathan. Sir, you would have seen many capital cities of the world. You would have seen Tokyo, you would have seen the big Paris, London, all of them. Now Delhi going to be compared to all these big global capital. You think, how is it going to be that of that stature? Definitely, or eliminating or maybe removing pollution is one factor. But now we have to work towards becoming a world-class city, which definitely Mumbai was once being compared to Beijing. But now Delhi being BJP in center, double engine ki sarkar, how that can that be possible?
See, if there is an intention and a will to do that, unfortunately, a large part of the Delhi budget is now taken up by freebies, which, of course, they'll have to come out of. From a revenue surplus, they have become a revenue deficit state. And this will continue in the short term, at least the next 2-3 years. But there are 5 things that they have to do. See, the BJP now controls Haryana, and now there is Delhi. Now they need to work closely with Punjab to solve the pollution problem, because the pollution problem is from the burning of the stocks and other things. The rice stocks and other things. That's one of the reasons for the pollution during winter. Secondly, there is a lot of vehicular pollution. So they can promote EVs as a very big thing. Plus, they can try and reduce other things. And water pollution, of course, needs a very concentrated effort by both Haryana and Delhi.
In fact, we did speak to Swaminathan Iyer, consulting editor for ET Now, and he shared his views on the Delhi election results, says the impact will also be seen on Bihar as well as Punjab elections. He also said that the winning 3 times in a row is a tough task for any political party listening.
This is going to be something that the shadow will fall on Bihar. In Bihar again, I think the BJP will say, we are going to be resurgent. We are going to win. Let us see. Kejriwal came in as this anti-corruption person. And I would say his image has been tarnished by the corruption charges with almost half the cabinet going in. He complained that this is a vendetta, which I think is partly true. But it did not take away from the fact that there seemed to be some questions that he needed to answer and had not answered. So certainly that was one thing. Secondly, getting elected a 3rd time in a row is a difficult job. It is not impossible. Modi did it in Gujarat, for instance, or the BJP did it in Madhya Pradesh. Naveen Shukla did it 5 times in Naveen Patnaik did it 5 times in Orissa. So it's not impossible, but you have to be very exceptional. And I think the performance of the Aap Aadmi in Delhi could not be called very exceptional.
Okay, that's the word coming in from Swaminathan Iyer, but let's also bring in more opinions on the same. And Union Minister Nitin Gadkari shares his views on the Delhi election verdict, says the national capital will see fast-paced development with BJP at the centre and the assembly. Listen into what he had to say.
दिल्ली प्रदूषण में दुनिया का नंबर 1 का शहर बन गया था। यमुना का शुद्धिकरण नहीं हो पाया। दिल्ली का क्वालिटी लाइफ डिटोरेट हो रहा था। दुनिया से लोग दिल्ली आने के लिए डरते थे। ट्रैफिक जाम से दिल्ली पूरी घेर गई थी। जनता को राहत मिलने के बजाय हर जगह पर बहुत तकलीफें सहन करनी पड़ती थी। अब इस पूरे जीवन को दूर करने के लिए, इस समस्याओं को दूर करने के लिए डबल इंजन की सरकार चाहिए थी। अब केंद्र में भी दिल्ली में हमारी सरकार है, दिल्ली में भी है, और अब दोनों सरकारें होने के कारण बुलेट ट्रेन की गति से अब दिल्ली का विकास आगे बढ़ेगा और दिल्ली को हम प्रदूषण से भी मुक्ति करेंगे और दिल्ली को सुंदर और स्वच्छ शहर के रूप में हम दिल्ली का निर्माण करेंगे। और निश्चित रूप से लोगों की अपेक्षाएं जो उन्होंने चुनाव में हमको जिताकर उन्होंने अपेक्षाएं रखी है उसको पूरी करने की कोशिश करेंगे।
All right, with this, we slip into a short break. Once we come back, we get you all the buzzing stocks as well as the earnings that came over the weekend, so that we set you up for the day today. Don't go ahead. Welcome back. You're watching Market Cafe on ET Now. Now let's get you our derivative roundup. Ansh is standing by. Ansh, the trend seems to have changed a little on Friday. Give us a sense of what has been the key highlights of FNO.
Well, yes, it seems a bit changed, but if you see on chart, the Nifty has been declining for 3rd consecutive session, but it has managed to close above that 23,500 mark, which is a positive sign. Also on option front, we are seeing most active call writing happening directly at that psychological mark of 24,000, indicating strong resistance around this level. Currently, we are around 23,500, so more 400, 450 points on upside, we can expect a free move. Now, if we talk about Nifty Bank, then Nifty Bank has snapped its 3-session gaining streak, but have managed to close above that 50,000 psychological mark. But in index future, we are seeing open interest going up by around 2.4%, indicating short build-up, which is a negative sign. At the same time, if we talk about index future positions, then in FII, we are seeing that they have covered some long by 215 contracts. They have also added some short by around 6,100 contracts, due to which the total long position has slipped a bit down from 16.5% to 16%, indicating they continue to be a bit bearish in the market.
Okay, well, those are the key levels to watch out for and everything that's been happening when it comes to the derivative front. But let's also take it across to my colleague Ria, who's waiting by with a list of all the stocks that could be in focus in today's trading session, either on the back of earnings over the weekend or individual news flows. Ria, take it away. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Let's take a look at the stocks that are going to be in focus today. First up is Fortis Healthcare on the back of its Q3 numbers. Now, the revenue has seen an uptick of around 15% on a year-on-year basis, but the net profit has jumped up around 90% over the previous year. Even the EBITDA has expanded over 227% over the previous year, and the margins have also seen a very strong expansion of 1,264 basis points, coming in at 19.5% in this quarter. So, very good set of numbers coming in for Fortis Health. Zaggle Prepaid will also be in focus. The revenue has jumped up around 70% over the previous year. Even the net profit has seen a jump of around 30%. EBITDA has also gone up around 42% over the previous year, but the margins have underperformed. They have gone down around 162 basis points, coming in at 8.6% in this quarter. Also looking at Amara Raja, the numbers have been quite good this quarter. Revenue has gone up around 7.5% and net profit has increased around 12%, but on the EBITDA front, it has underperformed slightly. It has gone down around 11% on a year-on-year basis, and margins have also gone down around 256 basis points. Also, looking at Hindustan Copper, the revenue has gone down around 18% over the previous year. The EBITDA has remained largely flat, but the margins have gone up around 612 basis points, coming in at 32.8% this quarter. Shifting away from earnings, there are a lot of stocks on the back of order wins. IRCON has, the JV has received an EPC contract worth rupees 531 crores, for which the share of IRCON will be rupees 138 crores, and they've also received an LOA for a Kavach order for rupees 194 crores. RVNL will be on focus. They've emerged as the L1 bidder for a rupees 210 crore order from Southeastern Railway. BHEL has received an LOA for 660 megawatt BTG package of the Koradi thermal power station, and BEL has received orders worth rupees 962 crores from the Indian Navy. Also keep your eye out on Hyundai Motors, since they have launched new variants for Exter and Aura. And lastly, also keep your eye out on ABFRL, since they have approved a QIP of rupees 1,081 crores on a preferential basis. So keep your eye out on all of these stocks.
All right, thanks very much, Ria, for highlighting all those stocks and the news flow, which could create an impact on these stock for the movement for the day today. But moving on, the government has approved an additional 6,000 crore package for the 4G expansion of BSNL and MTNL. This is as per the sources. Now, the move comes after MTNL sealed a partnership with BSNL to offer 4G services to its customers. What does this mean for PSU banks? Ansh joins in with more details on that. Ansh.
Well, Priyanka, as per our sources, government has approved 6,000 crore of additional financial support for BSNL and MTNL. Now, this funding will be used to expand BSNL 4G service and provide 4G connectivity to MTNL customers. Apart from this, we are seeing that Union Cabinet has cleared the proposal in its last meeting. This is as per our sources. Meanwhile, the reports also suggest that the government will honor the sovereign guarantee for MTNL, ensuring financial stability for the company. Also, additionally, starting from 15th Feb, the government is expected to issue tenders for land monetization of BSNL and MTNL assets, a move aimed at easing their financial burden. Also, MTNL has struggled financially over past decade, reporting a cumulative net loss of around 29,100 crore in last 10 years. The government has been working on its revival measures to bring company back on its track. Currently, MTNL's total debt stands at around 36,000 crore with 23 exposure to banks. Now, if you talk about banks, then the key bank here are Union Bank of India, Indian Overseas Bank, Bank of India, PNB, SBI, UCO Bank, Punjab Sind Bank, ICICI Bank, and few others.
Okay, thanks for all of that. Ansh, MTNL is going to be in focus in the back of this news flow, but let's also talk about another stock that will be in focus. Nifty 50 company Apollo Hospitals all set to report its results today. Let's go across to Varun to understand what the street is penciling in when it comes to this company. Varun, good morning. Take it away.
Well, we are expecting good set of results from Apollo Hospitals, wherein the revenues are expected to grow by around 14%. EBITDA margins are expected to expand from 12.65% to 13.9%, and the profitability will go up by 41.5% to 347 crores. Now, if you look at the internals, the hospital segment is expected to deliver 11% revenue growth and around 13% EBITDA growth, and the overall growth of the company would be actually led by volumes and improved case mix and better healthco performance. Now, the healthco sales are expected to grow by around 14%, driven by the growth in pharmacy distribution sales on account of the store expansion that the company is doing. Also, the ARPOB, they are expected to grow by around 3 to 4%. the AHLL growth would be good, but overall the margin would be under some pressure. Also, for the operating spends in 24/7, they are expected to be flattish. Keep an eye on international business because last time there was some issue with the the turmoil in Bangladesh, and also keep an eye on the Apollo 24/7 GMB, what the company is publishing this time. Also, the capacity expansion that the company is doing at various places like Gurgaon, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Pune, Mysore, they are to be kept an eye on, and management commentary, because you remember last time after the results the management has given some commentary, because of which we have seen sharp decline in the share price. So let's see this time what the management says, but overall if you look at the results, we are expecting a strong set of earnings from Apollo Hospital.
Set of earnings expected from Apollo Hospital. Thanks very much, Varun, for that breakup on that. Moving on, we have Jinay now joining in to talk about Eicher Motor numbers now. What is the street that is expecting? It's set to announce its quarter 3 numbers with margins largely expected to remain stable, but a healthy export growth is what street is penciling in. Jinay is joining us to tell us more on that. Jinay.
Well, yes, Eicher Motors is all set to report its number. If you look at the overall estimates, revenue is expected to grow by 21% year-on-year basis, whereas the EBITDA and net profit both are expected to grow by 18%. However, margins they are expected to slightly contract by about 50 basis points. Now, if you look at the factors at play for the company, the Royal Enfield volumes that are overall expected to grow by 19%, which will be mainly driven by more than doubling volumes for exports and a 13% growth in the domestic volumes for Royal Enfield. Apart from that, the average selling price that is expected to decline due to the higher mix of 350cc model. And if you talk about the VECV business, the revenue is slightly expected to improve by about 1%. However, the PAT is expected to decline on year-on-year basis. Going forward, what will remain in focus is the demand outlook for the existing key models and what is the timeline for new launches going forward for Eicher Motors.
Okay, well, so that's 2 out of the 3 Nifty companies reporting numbers today. Apollo, Eicher, and you also have Grasim that will be coming out with its numbers later in the day. But let's also hear in from Atul Suri of Marathon Trends PMS. He believes that the broader market story is not yet over. He also sees a sharper reversal when the market stabilizes. Let's go across and listen into his views.
I personally think that there's more juice left in mid and small cap. Yes, they've corrected. Yes, maybe it was across the board. You know, it was across the board. Maybe that may not be there, but I don't think the story in small and mid caps is over. Yes, the markets are bad, and we know that when markets correct, we forgot, thanks to the last few months of action, that even though markets were correcting from September, the small and mid cap held out for a few months. We were quite used to seeing Nifty 0.5% down, but mid cap 1% higher. But what we saw in Jan was Nifty 0.5% lower, but mid caps 2% lower, 2.5%. So the catch up that has happened very sharply in the month of Jan, and that pain is being really felt right now. But I do think that as and when markets stabilize and they start looking up, you will find that the reversal will happen. That again, you're already seeing it, I think yesterday, day before, that small and mid caps are putting in a 1%. I'm not saying that it is an absolute bubble, it is across the board. Selectively, I still feel that small and mid caps, it's not something that you move your portfolio from 0 to 100. You chuck away all your small and mid caps and only have a large cap portfolio. I don't think so. I feel that the catch up that will happen will still be faster in small and mid caps.
If someone is owning small and mid cap stocks, they have exposure to small and mid cap mutual funds also, don't sell them.
I don't think so. It's not a 0-100 game. No, not really. I do feel that as markets stabilize and markets recover, small and mid caps will recover. I still think that the kind of extremes that we have witnessed maybe in 2018, historically, or 2008, that kind of ratios that we work on. And again, I'm not saying this based on a hunch. We do some work which is a ratio analysis, and we still don't feel that the ratio readings are as extreme as they've been historically. 2018 was a case in point, or 2008. We still have some more time. If markets stabilize and run up, small and mid caps will also recover at that pace.
So you will not be surprised in the course of 6 months, it could be 12 months, but the small and the mid cap indices can make a new high.
They can. Okay. In fact, even the market can. The thing is that the small and mid cap recovery will be also faster.
In 2025, do you see the Nifty making a new high?
I think it is a possibility. PSUs really were something that, which had a beautiful 2.5 year run. I feel that a lot of them have been structurally hurt. they are going to take a lot of time. Let's say railway stocks for that matter.
Railway, defense, shipping.
Yeah, exactly. In defense, one or two stocks still holding out. That's what I meant. I have one of them. But you'll realize that in the energy space, in the railway space, these stocks have fallen 30-40%.
When you say energy, power.
Power related plays that
PFC,
are there.
RSC types.
All those kind of plays that are there. I feel that they will take time.
So if somebody is owning PSU stock, just take a hit and get out.
If you've bought at the top, yes, you will have better opportunities somewhere else. That's all I'm saying. If you sit through it, but you'll have to sit through a lot of pain and underperformance.
Okay.
Now the thing is that if you've bought it earlier, you're in the money, if you can still take something off the table, what I feel that the pullback that is coming, as I said, that market's correct. In the churn, you will always find new sectors and themes emerging.
All right, quite an interesting conversation with Atul Suri. With this, we wrap this edition of Market Cafe. GIFT Nifty is still indicating a 50-point cut. Let's see if this one turns into positive or not, or we trade in a consolidated range today. Don't go anywhere. Stay with ET now. Thanks so much for watching this edition of Market